Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to another day, another dollar. Positive gamma everywhere. Let's get into it. What are we dealing with today? Welcome everybody to the stream. Let's get started. Excellent. Everything seems to be actually working today. Hope you guys are well. Okay, what do we got going on? I know there's been a lot of talk about wars in Iran and everything else. So what we want to do is try and make some money off of this, right? And we are ready to make some money. Caught a quick scalp this morning, or at market open rather. So we got 100 in the bag. Also passed one Apex account this morning, London session, so we're on 53 there. So we'll wait for 12 o'clock tonight, and then we'll have to upgrade that. Saw some killer new funded accounts from ETF. The DTF on the ETF is buy one get one free, so I'm pretty keen to hook up one of those. Love that 50k account. It's like how much is it? It's like 697, and it's $5,000 drawdown, 5,000 profit target. So 1-to-1, pretty good. You can take a maximum of 20k from each account. So we'll try some of that. Just looking at the wider market today. Silver says it's down, but I just see some pumpy. I'm particularly interested in silver. Gold's looking all right. No reason why these things should start to falter, unless we start to get what I just saw that news come through. China to send Iran aircraft carrier killing missiles. What in the hell does that mean? That sounds atrocious. And I truly hope for everyone in that situation, you can get to safety. We certainly don't like to see war. But from a trading perspective, it's volatility. So we're not involved with it personally, myself. So yeah, just got to play the game of life, right? Okay, so a couple of marker lines there I've got just to keep my my eyes nice and focused. We caught that Gex, or sorry, that Gex. We caught that this morning. How did I know that that was somewhere to potentially look at trades? That's a great question. It's pretty easy to see. You can see all the way down. Where was it? I think I caught it here. Where is it? It's here somewhere. 831. Oh, I remember. Yeah, it was Gexstream. So on Gexstream, I noticed that the 603s, it's gone down now, but 603s was heavily stacked on the sold side. So that's what the potentially what the market makers, excuse me, and the dealers have set themselves or sold themselves, and so everyone else is buying a lot of calls at 603. Price spiked down from the open to 603, and it seemed like a pretty strong level. So I just took it was less than a 1-to-1, so 3-to-1. That's nice little trade there. We're pumping straight up to this DMA, so I'm particularly interested to see what happens at this 21 DMA. Options inventory, again, what is Gexstream? Gexstream is a product or a website out there that claims to understand or have a secret calculation for dealer positioning. Now, I know that's probably a bunch of hogwash, but it is particularly interesting to look at and to see how things change throughout the day. So 601 is where dealers have put a huge amount of puts. So if price comes down, or put it this way, dealers would want price to come down this way, because again, dealers are always trying to hedge themselves neutral and to ensure that all the risk that they have sold off or bought into, they have a counter position to balance that for themselves. So if we look up, we'll see currently dealers are not stacking a bunch of calls anywhere. They are guesstimating prices coming down to that 601, or they'd like price to come to that 601. And generally what's going to happen when it comes down to the 601, it's going to probably pass just underneath it, get to that all-important 600, which has been a monster level I think for 2 weeks now. Pretty much the same, or probably ES when it comes to 7,000. But for us, it's 600, and 600 is, I think it was like 24/7 something, 785 or 24/7. Oh, let me go and extend some of these lines out here. So I'm just kind of inferring with this. There we go. Let's go stick 8 levels on that. So we can see 600, yeah, 24/7/10. So 24/7/10 is a particularly interesting level to look at. If price were to get down there, that's going to be a monster drop, 300 points. Lots of money on that. Today, strong positive gamma, or we're in a positive gamma environment, put it that way. So the way to play positive gamma, or at least the way that I play positive gamma, is to buy the dips and sell the rips. Scalp as much as possible, and then basically just look for those quick gains. Things in negative gammas, when the trend holds to high volume pivots, and then you widen your stops just to ensure that you have a bit of wiggle room there should anything rip down. Negative gamma is a particularly interesting place to be in, because those rips are going to be rippy. There's going to be air gaps between a lot of these levels and things like that, which can hurt at the end of the day if you're on the opposite side of the trade. If you are on the right side of the trade, though, it's a fantastic place to be. So I will be watching out for that. As expected, price is just slowly trickling up. We're in a positive gamma environment, so all dips with low volume, like that one there that I just missed, in fact, which came pretty close down there to that visual trend line that I got. I'm not a trend line trader per se, but I certainly do use them to help my eyes. I got some big fat ass glasses and a big fat ass head, so for me to see things, sometimes I need to be a little bit more specific. So we'll continue with that. Big positive buy coming out now. Let's see what the time's, 4:12. So I'm generally looking rather at the half an hour marks for my trade. Yeah, as you can see there on the half an hour for my time, 4 o'clock, big pop up there. This was a fantastic buying opportunity here. We had well, it's not really a low volume pullback, but we had a smaller pullback with a yellow candle there, which basically shows me that the amount of pressure from the market orders was opposite to the candle color. So that's pretty interesting to note there. What is happening to my tunes? We need more tunes. Okay, let's get some more tunes in there. Fantastic. So we're just chilling around. Waiting for our positions to either play into us or not. So weird. Got to keep your eye on the news today. Got to keep your eye on the news every single day. Just going through some of that news there. We had the some stablecoin talk there. I don't believe any of it. Okay. Right, nothing. Oh, we've got Trump speaking in an hour and a half, or hour and 15 minutes rather. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. We've got a retrace at 608. So let's go look at our GEX stream and see what 608 is stacked like. Nothing really. Absolute air pocket. So I wouldn't be surprised with a little push down. Strong sell volume. But again, sell volume at this point has to be way weaker like that in order for me to jump into a trade. And you can actually see it quite clearly over here. Everything that falls underneath my average by at least half makes me very interested. Very, very interested. So I will continue to monitor that and look for some positions. Just I've got a fresh account there. We're on, yeah, we are. So I bought 10 of the Apex accounts during the sale, and we're just kind of looking for some opportunity here. CVD breaking lows, doing exactly what it should be doing. I'm expecting a strong buy. Yeah, as always, you'd expect a strong buy there. So we broke 2500s, quite strong. We had 1, 2, 3 rejections on it. I can see something else kind of coming around here at the moment. So let's just watch this play out. Beautiful. So just to reiterate again what the gamma environments are doing for us. Give me a second. So when we're in positive gamma, price likely to range. Any dips bought up quickly. Any pumps are likely just to fall back into a range. And then negative gamma, you want to hold for a bit longer. You want to widen your stops. And if we look today at the VIX, we are sitting at 111.14. Damn. The VIX futures at 20. So everything's decreasing. So the volatility is decreasing, but on top of it all, it's still very, very high. What is my skew looking like today? I still haven't even looked at my skew. Whoa. That can't be right. That really can't be right. So today's skew number is 227. And if you read some of that text over there, you'll see that when price does rip down, it's likely going to rip down 272% faster than it will pop up. So again, we'll probably see things where price takes forever to come up and then 1 or 2 candles to rip down. But I don't know, huh? With a skew like that in positive gamma and as positive as we are, let's see if there's any changes to that. So I'm going to go check out Tanuki. Tanuki's got this killer new feature. If you are looking at the chart, you'll see up here at the top, you've got a little copy option. This is because TradingView has a limitation on the amount of times it can update in a single day. And currently that's only 5. It's obviously to protect their APIs and whatever else. But Tanuki Legends have devised a plan and delivered, I think as of yesterday or the day before. So that's good to know. We can now keep on track constantly with that. Again, I see another one of these starting to form. So if this thing is anything to go by, we pop up to like 2580. 2580 sits at the 609. There's 609 today. Nothing. It's just air pockets everywhere. So I wouldn't get too excited at 609. If it pops up to 611, man, I'd be crazy if it popped up to 611. But you kind of want to stay on the long side today. And because of that skew, you want to make sure that you are protected, because when it rips down, it's likely to rip down rather violently. Let's get another one of these guys just going. It's again just visual clues, nothing particularly. It's not trading off of it or anything. What I would look for is any weakness in volume around those levels. I use the Q's volume rather than the NQ's volume. Reason being is the options actually make up a large percentage of these moves these days. 20 to 40% of the moves are dictated by hedging, which lots of different entities are doing in order to protect those options that they have. Yesterday was a monster push down to 600 and everybody finished out of the money. That's got a sting. It's got a sting. The entire market, and it wasn't the dealers, it was the market itself, was all stacked up here with puts around about the 600 level. So that was really funny, and that's actually how I got a decent couple of wins yesterday. And I took that accounts that I did this morning and passed this morning, got that all the way up to within $50. It was difficult to walk away once you got $50 left, but you do kind of have to realize that it's the best thing to do for yourself. Just want to do a little sound check. And yes, I use the most clicky keyboard that's ever existed. If you don't like it, man, I can't help you, huh? Can't help you. Can't help you. Something's starting to pop here. Only 20 points in it. I'm really looking for 40 pointers. Always. Oh, I can just see them. There we go. Get some light in here. 607, passing through nicely. Holding the fort. No reason for it to hold the fort. If I look back at Tanuki, let's have a little butchers here. 25. Yeah, that's exactly what I said earlier. 611. No, 25,115. Okay, so it's around about 610 over here. So in terms of just that cheeky longer kind of bull trend, let's just make sure that we got that right. A little bit off, but it kind of makes sense for me for these things to pop up there. Let's see if we can get that line a little bit shorter. Okay, let's start looking for a little bit of action. We got two delivered, but not the volume that I want to see. Unfortunately, that's going to keep me out. CVD breaking lows, but so is price, so nothing wrong there, or nothing right there. Right, got my boy Spider on the way. Flub can't join us this morning. Unfortunately, the man is in Australia. So Aussie's got the worst trading time ever. Let's just keep our eyes peeled here. Oh, we got some. Thanks, Spider. I had a house alarm go off, so I had to mute myself there. But I was saying, where am I going to be looking for some positions? Don't really want to be shorting off of there, although with the skew sitting at 272, downside rips are going to be way more violent today than anything on the upside. But because we're in positive gamma, I'm going to be waiting for any shitty sells like this one. But this one's starting to blossom. I watch my average quite. Thanks, Spider. Appreciate you, dude. Shout out to one of the greatest human beings that's ever existed, Spider. What a ledge. It's the type of volume that I'd like to sell, but again, I'm diddling in the middle, quite literally, between 608 and 607, so I'm not particularly interested in anything here. We've made quite a bit of bands today. Past one account, slapped on another 800 this morning, and then this one as well, we got up to 52,147, so I'm pretty happy with those. We're just trading the apexes at the moment, but I might swap over to my top 100 if I get a great setup. Like if this thing shoves all the way down back to this level over here, which we marked out this morning. And then of course that single same level that we have had at the 600 for, I mean, it's going on for weeks now. So again, came down, licked that 600 like a like something that licks, and we are passing back up. Nothing new coming through on the news. Trump is about to start talking shit again. Extending the mid. What the hell does that even mean? Everyone hating them tariffs. Of course they're gonna. But when you look at the amount of money that's been funneled out of the US, if I was a US citizen, man, I'd be pissed. I'm a British citizen, and I'm pissed about the amount of money that's getting funneled out of my bank. And if anybody wants to come join me here in England, I heard there's a nice little beach in Calais. You're welcome to go and jump on in the dead of night. You just wait around, and someone will pick you up, take you 1 mile out, and the British government will escort you here and call you and say welcome. So yeah, we've all got a bit of troubles here. Let's start to shapen up. So let's look at some of these push levels. This morning or this afternoon's position, I caught one at 3 o'clock. That was a really easy scalp there. It wasn't really a scalp, but 40 points, especially when moves are moving like this, you're quite happy with it. But that came down to the 603 level. How did I get that 603 level? What kind of magic and sorcery is this bald man talking about? But if you had looked here earlier this morning, you would have seen 603 heavily stacked on the call side, and again, that's on the sold side. So this is showing what dealers have sold and bought, and so the market essentially has bought a bunch of calls, and they had all the way out here to 603, and so I just quietly waited for this thing to pump past it and then come down and touch it, and I just caught that retrace back up. Rips are starting to rip. Just to prove a point here, if we look at, it took 8 minutes to move up 1.5 points, and it's taken, let's not even do that. Let's just do it till here. So where this top is. So it took 1.15 points, took 7 minutes, and then we ripped through it in 2 minutes. So again, that's all just showing us what the skew is potentially showing. It's not a directional bias. It's not a directional indicator. What it is showing you is the calls versus puts in the system, as it were. And currently we are stacked pretty high. Again, I'm not too... Generally what I like to see is that skew in the same direction as the market in terms of gamma. So we've got the gamma sitting very positive at the moment. We're in strong positive, and in fact I think if we break 610, we'll be squeezing the hell out of this market. I want to come back down to 606. Might be a good one. We got push target 1 over there, that one's also lining up slightly here, but again, let's get rid of some of these lines because we don't actually need them anymore. I don't delete anything on trading view. They must hate me. So today's daily push, perfect entry point for anyone looking to utilize them over anything else. Weeklies was holding strong all day. And I mean, I can't make this shit up, right? You guys see this as well. Push target 1. I mean, it licked it. It literally licked it, and this happens daily. I don't understand why it works. These levels are worked out with my own proprietary calculations, and then basically using the triple Qs as my source, and then inferring those levels back onto the NQ. I much prefer to look at the triple Qs to trade, but I do enjoy trading futures markets, so I'll keep it that way. What I do like to see though is when these POES levels line up with other GEX levels. Today we're not so lucky, so you pick one or the other. You could have said there it rejected off POES target 2, but you could have also said there that it rejected off of 608. And 608 today, it's a bit of nothing burger, so not exactly what you'd want to see. That's okay. A drop down to 601 is where dealers are starting to stack up the calls. This was non-existent this morning. So dealers here are more bullish at 601 than they are bearish. Again, it's a put supports and a call wall of sorts. 604 is likely to bounce on. You might get 40 points out of that. Where is 604? 24,880. To be interested in that level today. Yeah, 24,875. Nothing burger when it comes to the options. Let's go and do this little trick that Tanuki has now given us, and look at that, right on the call resistance. So if I copy that over, and this new little trick that they do is you can paste this into their indicator to deal with the limitations on the trading view API calls, which are limited to 5 a day allegedly. I've never had to hit that limitation, but I have had to manage APIs, and I understand. I don't like it, but I understand. So decent call resistance there. Net volume at that particular level was monstrous. Absolutely monstrous. The GEX there, that's where we would have started to squeeze. So this was really just to prevent that squeeze and that massive amount of hedging that would have had to have taken place in the market should we get there. Put support holding strong, and today's high volatility level is identical to that. So let's go and change this. In fact, I try to paste that into my NQ, but that's incorrect. So what you got to do is you got to go to every symbol, copy that sucker, and then you can come back into your GEX or your Tanuki trade pro indicator. Let's see if we get any changes there. Not matching up, so again, I'm going to keep my eyes firmly on their web app because they are definitely calling a call resistance there. I wonder if these haven't updated yet. Either way, I'm going to take this and I'm going to stick it on the triple Qs too to see if we can get some understanding here. Yeah, okay. So it is working perfectly. It's just not putting their levels back over. I'd prefer to see, let's have a look down here. Yeah, it's very unlikely to happen today, but I would love to see a move down to, what is this, 24,705. 24,705. Right down here at this high volatility level. I'd love to see price come back down here. Likely that we would, I mean not likely, but strong possibility that it does. It's been doing this all week. Double topping, double bottoming, everything else there. So we'll just keep our eyes firmly on that. At 2500s being a bit of a bastard. 2500 located directly on 607. 607 being nothing burger. In fact, 2500 wasn't the most called one. It was the one above it. 25035. So I'm I'm gonna have to chill out until I get 604. That's unfortunately my only positions today. There's nothing else here that's giving me any warm fuzzy feeling. Either that or I'm going to be scalping deluxe. And the way that I particularly scalp is on volume. I don't believe in candle sizes. I don't believe in candle patterns or any of these things. I do think that human nature dictates that certain patterns will play out repeatedly. It's like getting excited on Christmas. You're not going to know exactly how excited you're going to be or what you're going to do, but you do know it's a pattern that's is shared by a large amount of people, and people start to eat heavy or do whatever. But a similar thing happens in the marketplace, so we can just keep our eyes on that. And if we see any outlier volumes with CVD confirmation and a bit of delta fuckery, maybe a skiv appeal or a screaming Russian, could be even a screaming Angolan. That's a vicious move right there. What is a screaming Russian and a screaming Angolan? A screaming Russian is where the body of the candle on the delta is 1/3 of the wick size. So that's a pullback of notes. 606.39 holding the fort. Double bottomed of sorts. Let's hop onto the best time frame in the world. 5 minutes. Yeah, I'm very keen to short that, but it would be in a squeeze at that point. So if we look at 610 on the GEX stream, yeah, okay, so that's gonna be our call wall according to GEX stream, but 608 is still the most. Yeah, 610. Okay, getting a little bit of difference in readings between the two different companies who read GEX and produce these GEX levels. If you guys don't know about Rocket Scooter, go have a little looksky doopsky. But today we're sitting pretty. We're sitting pretty. My positions are gonna look something like that. 40-pointer. 1-to-1s all day, every day. 40 points win or 40 points lose. That's what we're looking for. $6.11 again. Just keeps coming up here. And again, a short from the top, probably on the cards. Because we're in positive gamma, range plays are in effect. So you really would want to try and range the sucker all day and just scalp your 800 bucks. One Connie. I don't know if I go two Connies. I'll probably go two Connies on the longs, one Connie on the short. Big sell coming in there. Here might be another one of these examples of the skew in action. So the skew in action, 7 minutes to the top. Let's see how many minutes it takes to get down. In theory, it should be there in like 3 if we're doubling. In fact, we're doubling. So it should be there in like 1.5. Should be this candle. I would expect it with that volume coming out of the 1 minute with a little cheeky gap down. It's a decent little entry there. Just looking for buys though. Just looking for buys. Let's get a little bit of these lines of our screen for the moment. As mentioned, I'm only trading the inferred levels of the Qs onto the NQ. I don't trade anything else. I definitely do not trust the NQ when it comes to volume. I do not trust the NQ when it comes to CVD or the deltas. I only look at the triple Q. Why do I do that? It's because the triple Q has options associated with it. And these days, the options market has gotten so fucking big. We're looking at 20 to 40% of the moves are a direct result of the hedging that takes place in between these levels. Yesterday was a prime example. 600, monster level. It's been a monster level for 2 weeks. But you saw all of the dealers having sold monster amounts of puts under the 600. And then there was this gigantic battle. In fact, let's go have a look at that gigantic battle quickly while we wait. Tuesday was just at market close. I was trading that sucker. So Monday. There we go. Here we go. So this was 600. And you can see there, everything was smooth. Everyone was trying to get in the money. Because everyone's options were below, or they had bought calls from the dealers below that, or from whoever. And right at the end of the day, somebody just took their fingers off of the pulse. And unfortunately, everyone got fucked. They got all of those puts ended up being worthless by the end of the day. And you can see that monster buy on the last minute. Yeah. So again, you don't have to believe me. Just keep rocking up here and I'll show you. Just like I show you the POES levels. The POES levels, how bang on they are. We've got our POES levels here. POES target 1. Showing some love. Doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Just get some of these colors right here. My apologies. Don't know why it didn't save. Saved. Cool. Trump talking in 45. And then we've got the ECB president, but who gives a shit about her? And we got Donald J. Trump. Remember when he said grab the bitch by the pussy? Ah, gotta love a man like that. Right, let's just do some visual clues down here as to what's going on. Again, anyone that's doing that Quasimodos, here was a nice little Quasimodo pattern. And we have broken back up. Let's see. Positive gamma kicking in. Let's have a look at the options. Has anything changed? Dealers packing up over 610. And generally when you see this right hand side stacking up with puts or calls, you will know that as price gets up and beyond those, all of this volume will start to shrink out because they start to do the counter hedging. So they'll sell off or they'll buy off or whatever the case might be. Today's expected move for me is a cheeky 9 points. So it seems like we're out of the 600 range for now. And that chestnut is finally gone. 607. Nothing burger. 606 might have a little popski, but we've got these calls currently sitting in the money, which Again, it's not like dealers are trying to attack them to get them out, because dealers just remain neutral. They are not trying to make money from the market. That's too risky. They're providing a service, a liquidity service. That makes the Nasdaq great, right? Anyone can put any size of order in at any time, and it would likely get filled. And why would it get filled? Because there are a hell of a lot of dealers and market makers who will quite happily just take any side of the trade. And what do they do to protect themselves? They hedge. And they hedge heavily. And that's what the options essentially are. And two types of those is the individuals selling those options and the individuals buying those options. And in Gexstream, they break it down into the dealers on the right here and the market on the left here. I find it a particularly good indicator. Go check them out. Gexstream. I think it's free until March, and then they start with a paid program, and by that time I'll be an affiliate, so you can buy that through me. But for the moment, I highly recommend you guys go check them out. I enjoy Gexstream. Other product that I love is Tanuki Trade, and I'm just having a little butchers here. Kind of don't want to short it up there at 608, but with that skew, we could do another one. Let's try to get this apex. That was the other one we got today. There we go, there's a new one there. Let's get that new one done. Don't like to take more than, one positive trade per account per day. It sucks when you lose money, obviously, but it sucks even more when your account got super positive and then you end up negging it out. Bought 10 of these Apex in the recent 90% sale. I think it finished yesterday. If you're looking for any other accounts, the one I could recommend is definitely going to be Elite Trader Funding ETF. They've got a fantastic offer, buy one get one free on their DTF, down to direct to funded accounts. So pick up one of those for like 50k accounts, 697. Get a second one free, so account works out to, I don't know, what is that, 697, it's 350, around about 350 an account. But the beautiful part about those accounts is static drawdown, all the things you like about, or you would like about funded accounts. 5,000 drawdown, static, not trailing, no nonsense there, and profit target of 5,100. And why the 5,100? Because that 100 becomes the amount that if you get down to, you lose the account. You can take a total of 20k from them before they'll tell you to piss off. So go and smack those as hard as you can. Not bad return on investment, 697 or 350 actually. I suppose you can get 40 grand for 697. So what's that? 1 to 40. Yeah, it's 1 to 40. It's a good RR. Right, getting some love back in the markets. Typical grind, positive gamma. Again, to reiterate, what is positive gamma going to do? It's going to produce an environment where you're likely going to get ranges. All the dips are going to be bought up pretty quickly. All the rips upwards are going to be sold at certain levels, but they're not going to tail back too much. It's just going to be a slow, steady grind. And as we start to reach that 608, which on the NQ, could look on my chart, but I want to use this one right now, 25.035. Anything over 25.035 and we're going to be squeezing heavy. We're sitting in nice positive gamma at the moment. I'll be honest, I kind of like negative gamma. Reason being is the rips are just so much more rippy. Yesterday was a prime example of that. It was fantastic. But my dumbass decided to take some longs. Luckily I didn't get murked too badly. But we did take an L or two. End of the day, super positive though. Super happy about that. Alright, big buy volume. Let's have a look here. CBD didn't break. Again, no scalpy entry for me. In positive gamma environments, when I see volume start to tick down at least half of what my average is over there, that's where I'll get interested. But the opposite is not true. In a positive gamma environment, when I see these sorts of volumes, like these very low ones, and that was a prime example, I won't pay them any mind, because this is just a strong grind up. Just to confirm, that skew is heavily bearish. 250, 72% more bearish. So when price, it's not a directional indicator, but when price does, okay, here we go, 608. Let's see. Can we get a strong sell out of this? I'd be particularly interested here if I saw the same pattern play out again. But I want to see that price pop up, fall directly back into that like kind of CBD pocket. That volume on the sell is going to be above my average. 30 minutes till Trump talks. And we're about 30 minutes till I'm done for the day. Already made some money. Might want to hit that top one. I've had that account for a year now. I've had that same funded account for a year. Taking a couple of payouts on there. But I've just been holding it. Got it from Wix9. Another fella trading streamer. Legend. 25032 seems to be the rejection. Let's see that volume play out again. So here we go. Wouldn't want to touch it until it gets to that level. Anything in this is like the squeeze play. I'd love to short from up there, and I'd love to long from down. That position is just getting further and further away out. if I was so bold and so lucky, in fact 601 is actually the play. It's not 600 anymore. We're past that chestnut. 2 weeks shimmying around 601. Crazy talk. 7,000 on the ES has been that same thing. So we are indecisive, put it that way, indecisive. Let's have a look at the broader markets. What's going on here? Amazon getting some love. Microsoft in a kind of what's going to happen zone. Amazon finally breaking out into positive gamma. Came down wicked into that high volatility level. Google, same play. It's just kind of finding its feet at the moment. Got negative gamma on Oracle, but Oracle's puss. It's definite puss. Let me take a look at Tesla. Tesla's more interesting. Tesla finding some love. Silver sitting at 88. Apple very strong positive. Big AI play. I'm very surprised to see Google getting smashed like this. New Google, what's it? The AI workshop or studio or something. I can't remember the name. I just installed it this morning. I'm gonna have a little play with it later today. There we go. Anti-gravity. If you haven't played with Google's new ecosystem of AI agents and agentic AI, it's kind of my day job at the moment. I don't call them AI, I just call them slaves. If you got a problem with that word, I don't know what to say, bro. I never owned one. I don't know anyone that has one. And in fact, the only countries that still have them are the ones you wouldn't expect to. Let's just put it that way. But you don't find them here. And you don't find them where I come from. So I'm okay with that word. Right, so that's the greater market. Let's look at VIX. VIX starting to fall down a bit. We're just doing some like kind of bear flags. upwards on the VVIX, so that's the volatility of the VIX. Jeez, look at the TLT skyrocket. Anything by this 90s, and this is where people start to freak out. Called it. The yen getting dominated. Okay, here we go. I was kind of waiting for that. Just keeping my eyes on Tanuki trade there. And we can see, look at this. Love Tanuki trade. So let's go and use their new tool. So what I can do here is I can take this and click it here. Go over to my NQ. I can paste it now. It's the limitation on the API. And this should update my new call resistance at around 25,115. Well, there it is. So, beautiful. Beautiful. Let's go and update the triple Q, because that's the most important one. I'm sick. Wasn't the pattern I was looking for. That was kind of more the pattern side. Trying to just wait for this thing to pop up one more time. Remember, the market is structured to fuck as much people as possible. So we build up with liquidities. Take that liquidity out. It's not a entity or a persona trying to do that. It's just how order flow works. If price is super high, nobody or somebody might want to sell it eventually, but in order to get more people to pull into the market, because so many people will be in profit, you'd need to rip it down to a new level to get those to sell or to get others to buy or whatever the case might be. But when it's slowly grinding up like that, you're just building liquidity all along these lines. And these lines don't matter at all. I certainly wouldn't trade with them. They're very interesting. Very, very interesting. 610. Butchers, yeah, accused. You gotta keep your eyes sharp and peeled. 610. Now the call resistance. So further confirmation. Although I don't have the DEX level confirming that. Difference between GEX and DEX. Pretty simple. GEX is going to be the overall sentiment of the market. Are we generally amongst most market participants, and in terms of where the price is and the options flows, are we more likely to continue in an uptrend? That is what GEX will show you. It'll also show you that point where things flip and go wonky. Today we actually don't have a neg zone. What is going on there? No, we really don't. Put support and the high volatility both at 600. So and then just to round that off, what is DEX? That is likely the levels where you're gonna see price reaction. That's how I play that, and that's how I interpret this. So I look for nice stacked out DEX levels, as long as those align with levels that I have, either on my POES levels or others. Could be a trend line, could be anything like that. But if I have double confirmation on that, I kind of just look for 80% of my entry criteria to be met to take a position. Very interested here. Let's see this thing pop up. I want to see a nice big candle. Obviously we're at lunchtime in the States. CVD not showing any follow through. Price not even near breaking out. So this adds to my short theory. Let's see if we can catch something here. So let's just see a nice rejection. It's the highest net volume of the day at this level. Let's confirm that with our eyes, because you can't just believe every motherfucker. You gotta be handy with the steel, if you know what I mean. And we'll use a cheeky, old school volume profile. So volume profile saying 607.41, 608, right, almost there. 608 being the guy. That was from the small or from market open. But if we look at it from this move that passed through, yeah, as expected, 608. So as soon as it got into this range, 608 was the one. Let's just get it into that range, kind of here-ish. Yeah, like here-ish. Just don't want to take that one big candle in, because that was the push up. Yeah, if you do that and you take into account that push up, we are okay, exactly where we want to be. Let's have a look here. Faltering volume, 30 seconds left. Big push up, want to see it break 608.18. It's probably going to break through and continue on its little trajectory to 610. So even a cheeky retest of this guy, like up here, somewhere here, probably like there rather. So it'll be like 608.15, and then a continue play to like 610. So you could catch that move. I would prefer just to catch the 609. Reason being is those are strike distances, and I'm just keen on that. Let's have a look at the extreme. Yeah, 609. So dealers are going to be cashing out of their positions as they get to 609. And so obviously, how do you get out of a long? With a sell. So there'll be tons of selling happening up there. Price likely pop back down to 608 because we've got some of the market there. But 604, 611, 601, 609 and 10. These goodies. Ooh, here we go. This is looking interesting. Don't want to be short, especially in a positive gamma, but with the skew like that, this is a unique day. I don't like hard rules in trading either, because it's more of an art than a science. And just like AI taking in a bunch of data to make a decision, so is my dumbass stoner brain taking in a bunch of decisions, or taking in a bunch of information to make a decision, should I rather say. This makes a lot of sense for me to come back down here, but I'm not going to bet on it. Nice volume pop up, kind of what you want to see. Let's look at the best time frame in the world, 5 minutes. Strong buy on that 5 minute. 2.5 minutes. Look at that. Let's get this fuck out here. Look at that volume tapering off. So you got 2.5 minutes to really impress here before this even would be considered to continue. We're in positive gamma. It should continue up, but we have built a monster amount of liquidity up here, double bottomed as well. So even down here is going to be tons of liquidity. That's what I'd look. Oh, that's what I'd look for. Nice rejection there. Because of that skew, I want to get in quick. It's probably going to be market orders. Just like iMan Trading taught me, you would rather bet that price stays within a range than betting on the breakout. Reason being is, how many times have you just bet to stay in that range or a range of sorts within here? Because this is a lot of pippage. It's like almost 80 points there. How many times did it bust out? Not really. It kind of just chilled around there. You might have taken that breakout and got yourself less than 20 points. But the better trade is to say that it stays within. Now here, 4 seconds. Let's see how this guy finishes up. Can finish bearish. Finishes bullish. And yeah, bullish on that side as well. Buy volume is not looking good here. This is looking rejection city. We like rejection city. That's where money lives. No entry for me there. Even though this can rip back down, there was nothing for me to get back into that, especially on the sell side. Want to see it pop back up. Let's get closer to 25,050. So in one strike distance, we are exactly where you would want to be in terms of volume. Boom. Let's see a weak pullback. I'd much prefer to be long here. As explained earlier. So we're rejecting right on the push target 2. It's just keeping that push target 2. Okay, bust it out. So 510. 510 my time. Let's see the retrace here. Yeah, that's exactly where you want to be. Again, 608 would be preferable. Get a full 40 points out of it. But I don't mind going 2 connies for 20 points for the same win. Really don't mind that. Really don't mind that. So we got 2 viewers. Why don't you say hello? Remember to like and subscribe. Subscribe. Missed that breakout, but I don't do the breakouts, so that's cool. We'll see how that goes. 609 was the one. In fact, 606 was the one. But now what I'd love to see, and it's almost like impossible now, is a short, weak, crappy, kind of sell. And the sell should come down to somewhere like where our trading view just literally stopped working. Oh. Sorry, my bad, guys. I forgot I was on that tool. Okay, what's that sell look like? CBD breaking out, it's what you want to see. Everything as it's supposed to be. Good sell. Tough sell. Pushing up to that call resistance at 25,115. I'm going to set a straight sell on that level. No. Let's say 25,110. Put a cheeky dibble 25,110 See if we get down to it. I'd also like to cheeky double 25053, but I'd have to wait all the way till 15 minutes from now, or we could get a really weak sell back here. So have a look at the daily push on the Qs. Sell volume petering out. Skew still looking monster. No change. Only looking at 0 DTE. The nice thing about Tanuki trade is you can actually go future. You can go into the future. And you can see where that market is trying to get to. Whew. So you got 3 months out. The market wants to be at 25,940. With the low end only sitting at 20, basically the low of today, or this session at least. No, the whole day. And that's at 600 level. So the market's pricing in 600 as the low point, and 25,940 as the high point. Here we go. Let's just wait here. If I do that, far too much sell volume there. Not for me. Not for me. It's kind of the reaction that I want to happen when it gets to my position at the top. I don't expect to get huge amounts of downward movement, but I would like to see it at least touch here. I wouldn't want to see it get over 132, because if we get over 132, we're squeezing hard, so it's got to kind of reject from here. Let's go look at the best time frame in the world. Monster buy. That's a nice scalpy potential there, but it's only 20 points. Much prefer 40s or one strike distance. Remember, the 1 point on the Qs is equivalent to 40 points on the Nasdaq. And why do I give a shit about that calculation? Because I basically trade the triple Qs, and I just use the NQ as my execution platform, or my execution chart. And why do I do that? Why wouldn't I just trade the Qs? Well, firstly, you kind of can't. Unless you got shit tons of your own money, and funded trading just makes it so much more simpler, and your risk is managed. Here we go. Crappy sell. I might jump into this. Let's just have a butchers here. Crappy sell. Let's see a little push down to 2050. 2050. Yeah, it's 53. So 053. I'll take a little bit of a buy there with my stop loss just below, fully aware that things can go freaking haywire from here, because we've already pushed so hard. But it just makes me warm in the pants when I see that. Makes me happy in the pants. So we took a little potential long 05875. I'm stopping out 10 points, 48. So I've actually got the wrong stoppy there. We'll go at 48. And we'll try push it up to 609. But potential to rip down here. Of course, the skew is completely against me. That's what I like to see. Two crappy sells in a row. That's really a good thing for me to see. I enjoy seeing that. 2580. So I won't put anything to take profit just yet. Would expect it to pummel down to the 45s. It's a good stab though. It's the right time. It's right before the typical POES entry. Typical POES entry is a 30-minute close above one of my POES levels, or holding the fort. I'm about to get taken out, I think. Just make it the proper stop loss there. Yeah, 46. So typical push would be a 30-minute close above one of our, exactly here. You've actually seen a typical push right here. Oh, we're about to, and we're out. We're out there. So that was our first out of the day, actually. But I kind of knew it. So just to get back to that, what's a typical push? So let's just go have a look at our high time frame candles here. Would be a 30-minute close. Oh, I'll jump back in here if this thing comes down to 608 again. Let's just double confirm 608, 20040. Yeah, 40 is a better one. Why do I like 40 better? Because it's got that ton of volume sitting there. So it's like one of the most traded areas. I might have just got in a bit too early and made myself a little bit. Yeah, it's gonna pop. Ugh, it's one of my rules. I can't just willy-nilly jump back in. Unfortunate, but it does protect me. And that's what this game's about, risk management. So what were the 250 down? That is well below what I'd expect on a loss. Weakness. Weakness. That's actually still a buy. That's still a buy for me. Still a buy, but got the potential to rip. So I'm just staying a little bit more cautious here. Typical push, if it closes above the next 30 minutes, wicks down and pops back up. An example of that is actually this one over here. You can't see them all. But if this does form a resistance at this push level, I have to wait basically the next candle to form bearish, and then that would be the confirmation candle, and then the next candle would be your entry candle, and then a wick up touch in the opposite direction. Typical pushes are all about pivot to pivot, so you would take 86 points from that if it were. Wick that. So 43, 47. Now out of 43, should have been 40. Oh, sorry, it went down to 43. I have mine at 47. Way too short a stop loss. Generally would have my stop losses around 40 points, but just with that skew, 20 points would have saved me as well. But just with that skew, where it was. Okay, let's see a week. I'll do this again now, because we're getting into that half past. So very keen on these typical pushes. Very good levels. Very good levels. Likes to play games around these levels. I like those levels. That's why I made them. Secret sauce really comes in the conversion and the constant conversion. I know, Tanuki, if you're listening, you won't want to hear this, but I actually work it out better than you. Sucks to say, but I do. So my inferred levels from the Qs to the MQ are far better. I don't know how I got that right. It's not like I'm smart. Okay, CVD popping out. Again, this is like grindy at the top, eh? Grindy at the top, coming close to that core resistance. We are in positive gamma, so I'm more interested again in positions from up higher. Just checking my trader bait there. Still got some shizners. That's weird. I'm supposed to have a bit rate of 3,500 or 13,500. They told me not to do that. Fucking bro. Anyway, all right, we got that retest the 25040 to the 3 viewers out there. What's up? Appreciate you. Terrible. Not my entry, unfortunately. I want to see that volume be down kind of where it is right meow. I put emphasis on that sort of volume only against the Gex. So currently we're in positive gamma. You can see that on Tanuki. We will get into a squeeze over 25,115, but if the sell volume comes in pretty short because we're in positive gamma, I don't put any emphasis on it. I'm only looking for the opposite. So here, this negative there, that would have been juicy, and that's actually where I got into the trade. That's the best thing to happen, when you can actually look at a trade afterwards and still want to take it. So I'm happy with that. 25,040. So we're coming to 5 minutes left. Your next trade, if you are taking our push levels, or my push levels, or our push levels rather, sorry, it would be here. And according to the push levels, we are going for a gargantuan 138 points. Would be absolutely bonkers to get, but it wouldn't be impossible. And you know why it wouldn't be impossible? Because over 25,115, we are in very strong positive gamma. So I would still like that short, just because it's a bit of a call resistance. And I'll be honest, you'll probably get that 40 points if you don't get just like a bull. Unless it does that, it's generally going to do something like it's done there, which is kind of what I want to see at the 25. But I wouldn't go for that 138. I don't need it. I only need between 40 and 50. I think, yeah, I took a 10-point loss, and I'm up more than 100 today on one contract, so it's a lot of money for me. I'm sure there's better traders out there, but really good for me. Passed one account today, or another account today, and we took another one to within 850, and then we took another 700, 800 on another one. So we've got some good dubs today. Let's see. Let's see what goes on. Is the typical push not going to play out today? It has played out already. You also get the H1 push, which is nice. Any South Africans on here, you're going to be loving my commentary, trust me. Right, it's not the sell volume I like to see. I want to see it dip all the way down there, like I told you before. You know, it sucks. I can't hear my fucking music, bro. I don't want to put it on monitor either. Let's have a little. Nice. Okay, cool. We got some nice liquid. Right, 25,080. It's got some nice volume packed up there, but I don't really care about this net volume per se. Just looking at my GEX and my DEX. So anything on the DEX side of things, and of course here, so here, where you would expect it, right? 24,900, 24,850, or 850, depending on where you are in the world. Big shout out to my boy Spider, helping me with the sound today. Appreciate you. Did I stop the music for the stream? Damn. How did you see? I just put it on monitor, bro. It's like ass, bro. Did I stop the Streamlabs, dude? I've been using OBS forever, and then suddenly, there, that should be back. Give it about 7 seconds there. I know what I did wrong. Okay, I'm also learning this thing. I trade, I don't stream. Well, I don't stream that much, but I am streaming now. Okay, this is looking better. Somebody just give me a little shout out if that music started again. It should be back, right? Okay, let's look for some positions here. 25.054. Yeah, 1 minute to go. Oh yeah, look at that. That's what I like to see. So a 40 point. I'm gonna jump in now, and 40 points for 40 points here. Just there. It's a slow grind. We might come down, but you know, that's trading, dude. That's kind of where I want to see it. Reason why I took a market order right there is because the difference between that and that is, what's that, less than 10. That's 61. I got in at 65. Might be the high of the day. Who knows? But that's the chance you take in trading. There we go. So that's a true reflection of my position there. Why did I take that position? I've got the M30 POES, typical POES coming up here right now. So we should see some volume coming through. We've got the bottom wick forming on that 30. Hopefully it doesn't like shunt down like that, and stays relatively respectful. Stop loss at 0.25. So yeah, stop loss is actually true reflection. Let's just get that guy to the back quickly. And unfortunately, thanks again, Spider. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to do some jiu-jitsu. So I'm going to have to go wrestle men. But I will see you guys tomorrow. It's a quick little stream there. I'm doing about an hour after market open, hour and a half to... I always think that that's me on the recordings, if you'd heard that in the music. Anyway, but yeah, I usually trade about an hour and a half after market open. I'll stay there for as long as I can, unless I got life and kids, which I do today. So I will see y'all tomorrow. Let me just actually make a note of this quickly. So I'm a bit underwater at the moment. But there-ish. Yeah, about there-ish. Just going for 1-to-1. Remember, 1 point on the Qs is 40 points on the Nasdaq. 40 points on one contract gives you 800. And that's kind of just where I tap out most times, or at least I'll move my stops pretty aggressively then. If it plays out, it plays out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. Potential to come down to 0.35. So we could come down all the way down here somewhere, 608. But honestly, now that I've hit the button and I've put in my reasons, so it was super low sell vol, M30 POES. As you can see there, that's the exact pattern. Now this thing must just continue, and then hopefully you guys will get to see it, but I see these happen all day, every day. Could get a rejection here, double top, little Quasimodo, whatever the case is going over there, M30 POES, and we... Oh, positive gamma, that was my other reason. You see, as with like yesterday and a couple of other days before, you try and catch bottoms or you try to catch tops. Just stay on the side of the gamma. Don't try and fight it. If today you've got a weird situation like we do, where the skew is sitting 272% more, so there's 272% more puts in the system than there are calls, basically sells versus buys. When price does rip down, it's likely to rip down 272% faster or more viciously, but it's not a directional indicator. It's just something that I keep in mind for positions like this, that yeah, sure, I am taking an M30 POES over here, but the problem being is we have already traveled so high today. You can see that thing double tapped the POES and then went all the way up, so we're like 240 points. Expected move is up to 613. So anyways, guys, gotta love you and leave you. Have a great evening. Look after yourselves, and good luck with those positions if you did take any, and good luck with your trading. I will see you tomorrow, and I'll give you a report on that. 106. Yeah, I'm at 105. Cool. Look after yourselves. Peace out. Peace out. Oh, wait. I got exit screens. Boom. Dropping that bomb. Oh, and the music's gone. Sorry about that, guys.